This message comes from Capital One with the Venture X business card. Earn unlimited double miles on every purchase and enjoy purchasing power to spend more and earn more. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
So there's this trend that I cannot stop thinking about, and maybe you can't either. 6'7".
My dad is trying to understand what 6'7" is. And, I don't know. Adults shouldn't use 6'7".
But that's kind of what makes it fun, because parents don't really understand.
I kind of feel bad for the parents.
I cannot remember the first time I heard it, but it's been everywhere for months. And I have a very special guest here with me to talk about it. Sanithya Sharma, welcome to It's Been a Minute.
Hi, Brittany. Thank you so much for having me.
Sani is an intern here at NPR, and he approached us about doing a story about this hugely popular trend. Sani, do you remember the first time you heard about 6'7"?
Honestly, the first time I heard it was because of LaMelo Ball, an NBA player for the Charlotte Hornets, who's 6 feet 7 inches tall. And all the 6'7" stuff was directed at him on TikTok. So that's just what I thought it was.
Yeah, sure.
But it went so much further than that. 6'7" is something kids just started shouting out this year. It's a meme that reached a lot of kids, both in the US and globally, because it spread partly through the internet. Math teachers reported not being able to get through their classes because their students just keep saying these two numbers.
I mean, I have to say, I'm with the teachers. I've just been baffled by this. And I've seen so many posts, tweets, think pieces, and explainers flying around trying to break down the trend to, the old people like myself. So for those who may not be familiar, the gist is whenever you hear the numbers 6 and 7 said in succession, you repeat them and you do a little gesture with your hands. It looks like, you're trying to decide between the two numbers, or I don't know, weigh 2 palm-sized oranges, let's say, and boom, call and response done. It makes absolutely no sense. It's not really meant to mean anything. It's just like an inside joke with no inside. I don't know, the whole thing is if you read too much into it, then you're kind of missing the point. So I'll say, I'm actually less interested in what the 6'7" meme means and more so interested in what it says about youth culture today.
No, for me too. I just wanted to hear what made it so enjoyable for kids to participate in and what it actually brought to their lives that we might not be able to see.
Hello, hello. I'm Brittany Luce, and you're listening to It's Been a Minute from NPR, a show about what's going on in culture and why it doesn't happen by accident. We're going to get into how 6'7" became one of the biggest memes of 2025. But first, I want to return to the phrase we talked about last week. And that phrase is public media. The Public Broadcasting Act of 1967 said that local public media stations should be responsive to their communities. To this day, that's what NPR member stations are doing in so many towns and regions where newspapers have stopped publishing, by providing news and information to everyone. Even as digital paywalls rise elsewhere, we offer these resources for free, regardless of anyone's ability to pay. We still believe in this core commitment of public media at NPR. We always will. But federal funding for public media, including NPR and local NPR stations, has been eliminated. You can help as we move into this uncharted future together by signing up for NPR Plus at plus.npr.org. It's a recurring donation that gets you a bunch of perks, like bonus episodes and more from NPR's podcasts. And it's an easy way to support public media. If you already go the extra mile as an NPR Plus supporter, thank you so much. If you're not part of the Plus community yet, you can join right now at plus.npr.org. And of course, I left you a link in the description of this episode. Now, let's get to some culture. Okay, so Sani, you looked into this. 6'7".
I sure did. And the first thing I want to get into is what came before 6'7".
Growing up in rural Wisconsin, kids' culture eventually made it there, but it took a long time.
That's Rebecca Willett. Mm-hmm. She's a professor at the University of Wisconsin-Madison who studies kids' culture. 6-7 isn't really new in the sense that kids have been sharing slang and memes forever.
When I was growing up in the 70s, I had a cousin who lived on the East Coast, and she would come to visit in the summer and introduce like the cool new slang. That's how kids' culture was transmitted. I learned the word dough to mean money in the 1970s from my cousin.
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly what she's talking about. When I was a kid in the 90s, I learned new hand clap games and songs from my cousins who lived in other cities. You know, my friends would pick up things from their camp friends from other states, and then we would share what we learned with each other.
And I remember when I was growing up in New Delhi, India, I was already so aware of all the Hindi memes and slangs. But there was this rush that came from being in on trends that would trickle down from American internet. Not in like a weird, like, oh, America is so great and we want to know what's going on way. But we loved it because we could make it ours in so many ways. A meme I especially remember was Dat Boy, which was just a clip art image of a frog riding a unicycle. And that's really it. A classmate in 11th grade, I remember, printed out a cardboard cutout of it for their birthday party, and we were all gagged and gooped. But that mechanism of global memeing has only sped up.
So I did a very quick poll of my international colleagues, including non-English speaking countries. 6-7 in English has, of course, moved around the globe at pace.
And I think the total contextlessness of 6-7 is part of why it spread so fast. Kids in the US are saying it. Kids in other countries are saying it. And none of them need to get anything because there is nothing to get. And it tracks too because so much of kids' culture has always been built on pure silliness, which in my opinion is one of the best things about being young.
It kind of fits into what some researchers call anti-sensical play.
That's Dr. Yalda T. Ulls, founder of UCLA's Center for Scholars and Storytellers. She has also spent time studying kids' digital media and culture.
Kids are using randomness as a creative outlet, a bonding tool, a way to signal belonging. And the meaning of the meme is less important than the feeling of participating in a joke with your friends and connecting with your friends on something that is outside of the adult world.
Okay, but the thing about 6-7 is like a lot of it was transmitted through the internet, right? Like right where adults could see it too.
Yeah, and the first thing the adults wanted to do with it was make sense of it.
There was this huge crest of interest in it, where a lot of national news outlets started covering it.
That's Callie Holterman, a reporter from the New York Times who writes about style, pop culture, and Gen Z. She wrote a story about 6-7 in November.
There's also, though, this feeling that so many of us want to feel like we are plugged into youth culture. Maybe it is a little bit related to the fact that like we all still want to hold on to being young or in the zeitgeist. So I do think there is some interest in the part of older generations, especially older generations that grew up online, in trying to stay plugged into that online discourse that has in some way moved on from them.
Oh, I can totally see that. I mean, you know, millennials were like the OG internet memers. Like, I know a lot of our memes from back in the day didn't make any sense. And now, kind of being on the other side of the fence, I could see how that would make some millennials like myself maybe feel a little older than they would like.
Well, I'm Gen Z, and I'm absolutely sure that'll never happen to me.
Okay.
Anyway, parents might just also have less of a handle on what kids are looking at these days. Here's Anna North, senior correspondent at Vox, who wrote a piece on Gen Alpha's culture.
When we just had television, like the television lives in your house and your parents walk by and see it. But now if you're a kid, you have a TV in your hand. It does like reverse the power dynamic in sort of a weird way, where suddenly your parents are like, whoa, like, you know about this thing? I don't know anything about this thing. Explain 6-7 to me. Explain Skibbity. Or like looking at an 8-year-old and being like, tell me what you know.
That is such a funny way to put it. But yeah.
So all that might explain why some adults wanted to understand 6-7 so bad. But what I also really wanted to know is what it brought to kids' lives.
6-7.
For me, it's like really satisfying to say.
Well, it's kind of just like an excuse to be loud and yell.
That's coming up. Stick around.
This message comes from NPR sponsor, LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Finding the right leads can feel like an endless search for sellers. What if you could get to the right conversations faster? From finding new leads to strengthening existing relationships, LinkedIn Sales Navigator is your strategic AI-powered partner. It cuts through the noise with real-time data and insights, backed by LinkedIn's network of over 1 billion professionals. Try it free for 60 days at linkedin.com/benaminute. That's linkedin.com/benaminute. Terms and conditions apply.
This message comes from Schwab. At Schwab, how you invest is your choice, not theirs. That's why when it comes to managing your wealth, Schwab gives you more choices. You can invest and trade on your own. Plus, get advice and more comprehensive wealth solutions to help meet your unique needs. With award-winning service, low costs, and transparent advice, you can manage your wealth your way at Schwab. Visit schwab.com to learn more.
This message comes from Whole Foods Market. Build the perfect holiday meal at Whole Foods Market. From traditional holiday must-haves to creative twists, everything must pass their strict ingredient standards. Grab sales on their impressive centerpiece mains with no antibiotics ever. Aim to please with limited-time desserts like chocolate bourbon pecan pie. And ring in 2026 with sales on quality seafood. Shop for your celebration at Whole Foods Market with so many ways to save. Terms apply.
A public school in Manhattan gave us permission to talk to students, but requested we didn't name the school. I talked with 5 middle schoolers, and we're only going to be using their first names because they're minors.
My name is Sasha. I'm 13 and I'm in 8th grade.
My name is Kira. I'm in 8th grade and I'm 13.
Oh, my name is Augie. I'm 12 and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Alex. I'm 12 and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Millie. I'm 12 and I'm in 7th grade.
So, first, I just wanted to know what made it so fun.
For me, it's like really satisfying to say. And we love it when the entire class starts saying 6-7, when like the teachers are like unintentionally saying 6-7.
Well, it's kind of just like an excuse to be loud and yell.
Those numbers like pop up in anything, and just like when you say it, it's just like everyone, like a bunch of kids will just know and just like will like connect.
In my opinion, I think that's like different from like Italian brain rot, like stuff like that.
Okay, Sasha is contrasting 6-7 with another kind of meme that's popular with kids right now. Italian brain rot. Italian brain rot is kind of weird AI-generated creatures that have nonsense fake Italian names. For example, a shark wearing Nikes called Chalalero Chalala.
I've heard of this.
And that's a very internet-based thing, but 6-7 is different. It bridges the culture they have online with the culture they have in real life.
You can find 6-7 like in the real world, like a food order or like in math class.
You don't just walk across the street and you don't hear someone say "Tralaleo, tralala" unless it's like a 5-year-old. But like you can say 6-7.
Oh, that is so interesting. I mean, I can imagine that just multiplies the fun.
Mm-hmm. And most of them said they did find 6-7 through the internet.
I started hearing 6-7 on like TikTok and YouTube.
Yeah, somehow I found his YouTube channel when I was just doom scrolling, and he was like reviewing the 6-7 meme, like it's like an animation, and he was just reviewing it. I don't even know how I got there.
Wait, I want to clear something up. So when I think of doom scrolling, to me it means like being on Twitter and like looking at all the bad stuff in the world and the politics and whatnot.
That was It's Been a Minute producer Liam McBain, who was there talking to the kids with me.
Does it have a different meaning for you guys?
Yeah. What in our like thing, it's doom scrolling is when like you scroll on like YouTube Shorts or TikTok constantly for like hours and hours.
Yeah, like for hours, and like you don't look away. You don't pay attention to the outside world.
I didn't realize that for kids, or at least these kids, the doom part of the doom scrolling is just the scrolling itself, like not necessarily the content they're looking at.
Right. So they're self-aware about their relationship to the internet. But also, these students I talked to were really clear about how their generation is perceived, that they're too online. And a lot of their culture and memes and connections live there. That's how they spread 6-7 so quickly. But they wanted to push back on some of the narratives that adults have created about them.
For some reason, they call us like iPad kids. But like half the time, I see them like always on their phones, like on the train, on the sidewalk. Especially my dad though, because he's always watching TV. I'm pretty sure a lot of people do that too. And then he's like saying, you guys need to get off your devices. You guys have been on it too long. And he keeps the TV on for like 20 hours every day.
Like, my dad, whenever we're like watching a movie or whatever, he'll be on his phone for like half the movie. But then he'll ask me to get off my device.
I kind of want them to know that like there's gonna be all these stupid things that they're not gonna be able to like catch up and get into, so they shouldn't try. Like, I want them to try and be like funny and all that, but they shouldn't like try and be up to date on it. Like, you kind of know what I mean, and that like we're gonna be on our like phones and all that, but there's times where like we're off it and you guys don't like realize that.
I mean, they raise a good point. Like, adults judge iPad kids, but we are technically iPhone adults.
And that made me think of something Yalda had said too. As much as the internet can be potentially harmful, the IRL space is just not as popping for kids or adults as it used to be. And all of us are navigating that.
Concurrent with the internet launching, adults started not really allowing young children out in open spaces. We don't have malls. We don't have places for them to hang without adults around. The internet was coming up at this point, and it became a place, the third space, where young children could hang out.
I've also seen that adults have had the police called on them or been investigated for letting their kids play or be out in public unsupervised. Like, that used to be normal.
And so, because of all this, for better or worse, the internet is just where kids' culture lives now. Do you feel like if you're not online, it makes it hard for you to be friends with people in real life?
Yeah, I would say yes, because now with all these trends going, you might not know about other trends that like make you popular or like normal if you don't follow trends.
Wait, there's this short that keeps appearing on my For You page, and it's this British girl screaming because her mom sold her iPad for a trip to like Thailand where they can both go, and she's like cursing and the mom is like not even doing anything. I don't know, some kids just don't know how to function without their gadgets, otherwise they'll just like genuinely crash out.
So I'm hearing that like you do kind of like need it in order to like, you know, be connected with people and kind of know what's going on, but some people take it too far. So you got to touch grass.
Yeah, touch grass.
They're so aware of the internet's ability to keep them isolated, but also very aware of how the internet helps them form relationships. You know, to a certain degree, it seems like keeping up with meme culture is important to their social lives. But also, you know, what I heard earlier from Millie, you know, about wishing parents wouldn't try to get in on it. It sounds like kids also want to keep these memes for themselves.
One of the kids, Alex, said he pitied the adults, actually.
I kind of feel bad for the parents because with all this like new weird slang that kids are coming up with, they can't really understand their child sometimes. So yeah, my parents always get super upset about it, and they try and they want to like connect with us, but like they are always like, what is this about? Why are you being like this?
That made me think about something Anna North said.
Something that a lot of folks said to me is that kids kind of want a place where their stuff is safe from adult eyes. And I think that's always been true. But I think even more so now that kids are under a lot of surveillance, you know, parents are tracking them on their phones. When kids make stuff for one another on YouTube or on TikTok, adults are watching it, they're critiquing it. Adults are always like hand-wringing and worrying about kids. And again, that's always been true. But now it's everywhere, all over the internet, all the time. Kids log on to TikTok and see like teachers talking about how they can't read. You know, there's enormous scrutiny on this generation. And so I think kids want a place where it's just for them and adults don't get it. And 6-7 is something that adults don't get.
So its meaninglessness is protective almost.
You hit the nail on the head. Here's Rebecca again.
6-7 is about playing with power.
She says it's not just 6-7, but all kids' culture. The clapping games and the songs and the memes. It's all protective and about taking some power back.
One of the reasons I'm fascinated with kids' culture is it's those creative, playful spaces that happen in between the structures of their day. And a large part of those structures are imposed by adults. Sometimes I use the analogy of paving stones. Kids' lives are these paving stones that are quite tightly fit for them by adults. And their culture is like the grass and the dandelion and the anthills that emerge in between those paving stones. And there is a lot happening in those spaces if we look. It really does show their creativity, their playfulness, their agency, their power.
Listen, I get that we're part of the problem here, like talking about a kid's trend that they kind of wanted to keep for themselves, but 6-7 is kind of over now, right?
Well, I wouldn't count it out just yet. Get it?
That was a good one. That was very good.
Anyway, I've heard it's still around. But something else is around the corner as well.
Me and like my friends, we try and say it, but like it's dying down. And like there's this thing going around about a great meme reset of 2026. So it may be dead by like then, because
Wait, say more about the reset.
So, I don't know. Basically, it's been going around. I heard about it. Like, they just want to take apart all the memes and, like, just have new memes for 2026 and start new.
What I heard from it is that, like, all, like, the brain rot and all the, like, things are going to vanish and, like, the old ones, like, the OGs are going to come back.
We're going to get, like, OGs, like Nyan Cat.
Wow. The circle of meme life continues. Honestly, I just hope a potato flew around my room comes back. I miss that vine. But I guess what I want to see doesn't matter.
And the thing I'm thinking about after all this is that we're just so lucky to witness the silliness and fun of kids' culture, even if it is from afar.
Sani, thank you so much for looking into this trend that I still don't fully understand.
My pleasure, Brittany.
That was Sanithya Sharma, intern on the NPR editorial graphics team. This episode of It's Been a Minute was produced by
Liam McBain.
This episode was edited by
Aaron Edwards.
Nina Patak.
Engineering support came from
Jay Says.
Our supervising producer is
Barton Girdwood.
Our executive producer is
Verilyn Williams.
Our VP of programming is
Yolanda Sanguini.
All right, that's all for this episode of It's Been a Minute from NPR. I'm Brittany Luce. Talk soon.
This message comes from Vital Farms, who works with small American farms to bring you pasture-raised eggs. Farmer Tanner Pace shares a moment that brings him a sense of purpose.
I think that when the barn doors open and the hens run to the paddocks, you can truly see what a happy hen really is. I love pasture-raised eggs because you can see the work and the pride that the farmers have and have put into these eggs.
To learn more about how Vital Farms farmers care for their hens, visit vitalfarms.com. This message comes from Mint Mobile. Starting at $15 a month, make the switch at mintmobile.com/switch. $45 upfront payment for 3 months. 5 gigabyte plan equivalent to $15 a month. Taxes and fees extra. First 3 months only. See terms.
This message comes from Solidigm. Yesterday's approach to storage can't meet the demands of today's AI ambitions. Bigger, faster, and more energy efficient, Solidigm solid-state storage solutions are optimized for AI. Learn more at storageforai.com.